As we go through life, the allure of becoming our best selves is often hampered by habits and behaviors that make us less attractive. Why do we sometimes act in ways that turn people off? Could it be that in our desire to connect with others, we unintentionally adopt patterns that make us less attractive? Today, we're going to take a serious look at 5 habits and behaviors that can make you much less attractive. This study isn't just about finding flaws. It's also about getting to know them well and learning how to fix them by using the knowledge of Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius, a great Stoic thinker, once said that all you need to make your life happy is to change the way you think. How often do we look to others for approval, happiness, or success when the source of these things lies within? Are we guilty of letting these bad habits define us? Or are we ready to push ourselves to grow? Besides them, Stoicism, which has a long history of focusing on self-control, virtue, and understanding, can help us understand why these behaviors are seen as undesirable and how we can change our actions to match the traits that people really like by following Stoic principles. We can learn to develop habits that will not only make our relationships better, but also help us live a happier, more peaceful, and more successful life. Let this journey be one of discovery, where the timeless wisdom of Stoicism shows us the way to our best selves. Are you ready to think about these habits and see how Stoic teachings can help you change them? Come with us as we explore the deep yet useful ways that Stoicism can help us get past the things that make us less beautiful and reach our full potential. Leave a comment if you're ready to start the journey today. Number 1. Bragging. People often think that talking is a sign of real self-esteem, but bragging is usually a sign of wanting approval. When someone praises themselves too much, it doesn't just make them less attractive, it also damages real relationships with other people. Stoic philosophy, which stresses humility and self-control, can teach us a lot about why bragging backfires. Epictetus, a Stoic teacher whose ideas were recorded by his student Narration, pushed people to look inward for stability instead of chasing other people's reactions. A core Stoic reminder is this: men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of things. In other words, if your self-worth depends on how people respond, you'll always be at the mercy of an audience that asks, "Oh, why do people brag?" Is it pride? Or is it insecurity wearing a mask? Think about times when someone bragged. Did it make you want to be closer to them, or did it push you away? Stoicism tells us that real confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to advertise wins or make loud statements to feel valid. When someone brags, it often signals a fragile kind of self-esteem, one that needs constant confirmation. So how can we use Stoic wisdom to become more attractive, not just on the outside, but in a deep and meaningful way? First, recognize your own accomplishments without putting others down. Then, if you share your wins, share them in a way that includes and values the work of others. Can you remember a time when someone shared their success with humility? How did that make you feel about that person? Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, offers a simple standard. The best revenge is not to copy him that wronged you. If someone's bragging turns you off, choose to be different. Choose humility over arrogance. Choose contribution over boasting. That choice doesn't shrink you. It builds real respect. Remember, bragging only drowns out the voice of true virtue. Instead of bragging, try Stoic reflection. Think about your daily actions every night and ask yourself, were my actions today reflective of the virtues I aspire to embody? How can I improve? By giving up bragging and embracing Stoic humility, you pave the way for a life full of real relationships and self-respect. This change not only makes you more appealing to others, but it also sets you on the path to happiness and inner peace. If you want to live a full life, let your actions and morals guide you, not your words. Brag means to show off, talking too much about your accomplishments, skills, belongings, or experiences in a way that can come across as cocky or self-centered. People often brag to gain attention, respect, or approval, to establish dominance or raise their standing, or to cover up insecurity. Bragging once in a while might not hurt anyone, and it may even be useful in certain social situations. But constant bragging turns people off, creates resentment, and weakens relationships because it can make others feel ignored or diminished. Instead of talking, build real self-confidence through humility and empathy. Share accomplishments modestly, recognize others' efforts, and stay genuinely curious about what other people have to say. Self-awareness matters. Knowing when to stop and understanding how bragging affects your image and your relationships is what helps you communicate with strength instead of noise. Bragging is something many of us do from time to time, but the real skill is balance, being proud of progress without turning life into a performance. This lesson goes deeper into bragging, what it is, why people do it, how it affects others, the alternatives, and why self-awareness matters when you communicate. Number 2, able to react. Reactivity, the tendency to react to situations without thinking them through, is a behavior trait that can make a person less attractive and less effective in life. Stoic philosophy, which puts a lot of emphasis on self-control and logic, can help you understand why this trait is bad and how to develop a more calm attitude. Think about what Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who was born a slave and went through many hard times, had to say. Despite these problems, he became famous for his unwavering calm and knowledge. Epictetus once said, "What matters is not what happens to you, but how you react to it." His life and words have become famous to emphasize the somber idea that we don't have control over outside events, but over how we react to them. Why is being emotional seen as unattractive? Have you ever seen someone lose their cool in a tough situation? What was your first reaction to their outburst? Most of the time, uncontrolled reactions lead to negative judgments because people value people who can stay calm under pressure. For example, Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor who was a Stoic philosopher and faced huge pressures on the battlefield and in his administrative duties. Despite these stresses, he is remembered for his philosophical reflections on how to stay calm. Understand this, and you will be strong. The example of Marcus Aurelius shows that you can win respect and true leadership by staying calm and thoughtful no matter what is going on around you. How can you use these Stoic ideas to make your own life less reactive? Start by paying attention to how you react right away in different situations. What makes you act without thinking? Can you spot patterns? Being Stoic teaches us to think and pause before responding, which is good for our relationships and our self-respect. Epictetus also gives us useful advice. Don't just talk about your philosophy, live it. If you live by a philosophy of calm and reasoned responses, you'll become more attractive and powerful on your own. This method doesn't mean hiding your feelings. Instead, it means controlling them in a way that fits your values and the needs of the situation. Now think about how changing your reaction to something into a reflection could change your life. What if instead of getting angry at something, you responded with understanding? What if instead of acting on a desire right away, you took a moment to think about how it would affect you in the long run? This is how you can become less reactive and more reflective. This change not only makes you more attractive to other people, but it also makes you happier and more successful in your personal goals. Allow this message to hit home for you, and strive to be the person who faces problems with a calm and steady heart. Adopting the Stoic practice of reflecting over reacting will not only improve how others see you, but it will also help you live a fuller, happier life. Remember that the goal is not to feel less, but to let your feelings guide your actions less impulsively. By doing this, you embody the wisdom that has made Stoic philosophy a beacon of strength for hundreds of years. How do you deal with reaction in your own life right now? What methods have worked for you? Leave your ideas and stories in the comments section below. We'd love to hear how you use Stoic principles to deal with everyday problems. In a world full of uncertainty and quick changes, being able to respond well is essential for success. Being able to react quickly and correctly can make all the difference, whether you're at work or at home. Adaptability. When you need to react well, you need to be able to change. Accept that things will change and be ready to make changes to your plans or tactics when you need to. Develop an attitude that does well in uncertain situations and sees problems as chances to learn and grow. Situation. Assessment. Carefully look at the situation before you do anything. Get information, think about the choices you have, and imagine what might happen. This way of critical thinking helps people make smart choices even when they are under a lot of stress. Making quick decisions. It's important to think about what's going on, but don't get stuck in analysis paralysis. Especially in places where things move quickly, time is often of the key. Learn how to quickly make choices based on the knowledge you have access to and your own best judgment. Good communication. When responding to events or problems, it's important to communicate in a clear and concise way. Whether you're running a group or working with other people, make sure that information gets across clearly and quickly. This makes it easier for people to work together, clears up confusion, and solves problems quickly. Learn from feedback. After you've responded to a situation, think about what happened. What did well? How could things have been done better? Accept feedback, whether it's good or bad, because it helps you figure out how to behave in the future. To master the skill of being able to respond well, you need to keep learning and getting better. If you can master these 5 points, you'll be better prepared to handle the unexpected turns and twists that life gives you, letting you move with confidence and speed. Number 3, not having any goals. Desire to. The word ambition makes you think of goals that you want to reach and often go beyond. But what does ambition really mean from a Stoic point of view? This old theory asks us to look at the nature of our drive and peel back the layers of our desires to find their core. Is our ambition just a shadow that wants to be noticed by others, or does it shine as a light that leads us to personal growth and moral living? Being tough a way of thinking that prizes goodness and self-control. Above all else is a deep reevaluation of what it means to be ambitious. Stoics like Seneca, who lived through the dangerous waters of Roman politics, remind us that real ambition isn't about how high we climb, but how deep we go as a person. Stoics like Seneca, who lived through the dangerous waters of Roman politics, remind us that real ambition isn't about how high we climb, but how deep we go as a person. Seneca's life and works can help people who are trying to figure out where their own ambitions come from. The tempting allure of power and status with sharp questions. What good are lots of books and libraries if the owner can't take in even one principle and make it his own? This question forces us to think about whether our goals lead to real knowledge or just become useless possessions that gather dust. When was the last time you really felt satisfied by an accomplishment? Was it the praise from others that made you feel good? Or did you feel better inside knowing that you had grown in some meaningful way? Stoic philosophy tells us to focus on the latter, creating goals that aren't based on the cheers of the crowd, but on the steady growth of the soul epicus. Another great figure in the Stoic school said it very well. First, tell yourself what kind of person you want to be, and then do what you need to do. This simple rule gets to the heart of Stoic desire. Visualizing the virtuous person you want to become and acting in line with that image is what Stoic ambition is all about. Stoic ambition is about self-improvement and resilience rather than conquest and collection. In today's world, ambition often means a never-ending search for more money, fame, and power, but Stoicism tells us to question these pursuits. Are they making our lives better or just more difficult? Are we chasing shadows instead of cultivating substance? Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and emperor, said the only wealth you will keep forever is the wealth you have given away. In his view, ambition should not only be seen as a way to achieve personal goals, but also as a way to help others. This new definition not only gives us a higher purpose, but it also makes us more attractive as people who care about the common good in your own life. How can you use your ambitions to not only move forward, but also help others along the way? How can your goals contribute to a larger tapestry of communal, and this shift in thinking can lead to a happier, more peaceful, and ultimately successful life, where our goals reflect our deepest values and hopes. So let's choose to see our goals not as ends in themselves, but as means to a greater end, a life of virtue, wisdom, and genuine happiness. This is the real promise of Stoic ambition, not a trophy room full of accomplishments, but a soul strengthened by purpose and filled with service to others. Setting goals gives your life direction, meaning, and drive. But some people may feel lost because they don't have any clear goals to work toward. This lack of direction can make people feel like they have nowhere to go and are stuck. Clarity and focus goals help us stay on track by directing our actions and choices toward a clear end point. If you don't have them, it's easy to get lost in all the things that life has to offer. Setting clear goals helps us organize our work and keep our attention on what's important. Sense of achievement. When you reach your goals, you'll feel like you've accomplished something important. They give us something to work toward and make us feel good about our progress as we hit important milestones. If you don't have goals, you might just drift through life without getting anything done that makes you feel good, drive, and motivation. Setting goals gives you a sense of urgency and makes you want to act. They give us desire and drive, pushing us to get past problems and keep going even when things get hard. It's easy to lose focus and give up when you don't have any goals to work toward. This is called stagnation, personal growth, and development. Setting goals forces us out of our comfort zones, which helps us keep learning and growing. As we work toward our goals, they push us to gain new skills, information, and experiences that if you don't have goals, you might stay in the same place and miss out on chances to grow and improve yourself. Meaning and direction goals give us a feeling of direction and purpose in life, leading us to a life that is full and meaningful. They help us have a clear picture of the future we want and plan how to get there. Without goals to guide us, we might feel lost or unsure of how to move forward, which can make us unhappy and disappointed. To sum up, setting goals is important for personal growth, happiness, and success. They give us focus, drive, and direction, and they change our lives in important ways. Without goals, we might just float along without a plan, missing out on all the great things that life has to offer. In light of this, it is very important to set clear goals and passionately follow them. Number 4, needing something. How often do we look for other people's support to feel valued or appreciated? This is called neediness, and it can really hurt not only our relationships, but also our personal appeal. Stoic philosophy encourages people to be self-sufficient and emotionally strong. It encourages us to look within for approval, which gives us a sense of independence that is both freeing and attractive. Think about Epictetus, a Stoic teacher who was born into slavery but rose to become one of the most respected voices in Stoicism. His teachings stress how important it is to rely on oneself for emotional and psychological stability. He reminds us that we don't control outside events. We control our judgments, choices, and responses. That perspective forces an honest question. Do we need other people's approval to feel good about ourselves? Are we letting other people decide our happiness? Why is neediness seen as a bad thing? When one person in a relationship depends too much on the other, the relationship becomes unbalanced and unhappy. People usually want to connect with those who feel confident and independent, not emotionally dependent. Neediness quietly communicates fear of being left, fear of not being enough, fear of standing on your own. And that fear leaks into everything: your tone, your decisions, your dignity. Seneca's wisdom is a powerful reminder that if you really want to escape what troubles you, you need to become a different person, not move to a different place. That line points inward. It encourages interchange instead of approval seeking. So instead of chasing reassurance, why not build inner resources? How can you use Stoic ideas to overcome neediness? Start by examining where your self-esteem comes from. Is it mostly based on how other people see you? Or is it mainly built on your own values, your own standards, your own effort, qualities you recognize and choose for yourself? Seneca's life, filled with political upheaval, shows that true stability comes from within, holding your ethics and inner peace even when the outside world is uncertain. Marcus Aurelius also speaks directly to independence, saying that you have power over your own mind, not over outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This insight reminds us that we can keep our dignity and attractiveness by controlling our feelings and reactions, rather than begging for external validation. Think about how becoming more stoic might change the way you engage with others. What if you focused on building virtues instead of collecting approval? How would your relationships change if you were less needy and more able to take care of yourself? Adopting the Stoic virtue of self-sufficiency can be life-changing. This doesn't mean cutting yourself off from people. It means strengthening your emotional core so that when you connect with others, it's because you choose to grow together, not because you panic when you're alone. Build your inner fortress and let it become the source of your approval, instead of chasing it from outside. Not only will this make you more attractive, it will also make your interactions healthier and more balanced. Adopt the Stoic practice of self-sufficiency and watch what changes. As you become less needy and more confident, your relationships improve, and so does your overall happiness. What can you do today to begin the journey of becoming more independent and emotionally strong? Leave your plans and thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear about your progress and new ideas. Number 5, using self-deprecating humor. Now let's talk about self-deprecating humor. This type of humor involves making fun of yourself, bringing up your flaws, weaknesses, or embarrassing moments to make people laugh. Used well, it can make you more relatable. Used too much, it can make you look insecure and less attractive. Building connections. Self-deprecating humor can help people feel connected to you because it signals openness and humility. It can break down social walls and make others feel comfortable, the right situation. It matters where and when you use it. It works best in light, friendly settings, when the goal is warmth, not self-destruction. Stay away from sensitive or truly painful topics that can leave a bad aftertaste. Active balancing. Balance is everything. A small joke about yourself can be charming. Too much of it can quietly train people to see you as less valuable, and it can train you to think of yourself that way too. Impact and effectiveness. Used correctly, self-deprecating humor can ease tension, soften conflict, and make people like you more. But used carelessly, it can become a habit that hides low self-esteem. Moderation and awareness are the difference between charm and self-sabotage. Self-deprecating humor has been used for centuries, from stand-up comedy to everyday conversations, because it has a special kind of charm. This lesson goes deeper into how to use it correctly, how it can build relationships, how it affects social dynamics, and how to stay humble without disrespecting yourself. When used rarely, self-deprecating humor can make you more humble and relatable. But when used too much, it can signal low self-esteem and make you less attractive. Have you ever made fun of yourself to lighten a moment or seem more approachable? It can work short-term, but over time, it can become a pattern that weakens your self-image. Stoic philosophy offers a clean mirror here. A Stoic would tell you not to build your identity on other people's opinions, but to build a strong foundation of self-respect within yourself. What troubles us is not what happens to us, but how we interpret it. And that includes the stories we repeatedly tell about ourselves. So ask, what are you trying to achieve when you use self-deprecating humor? Is it a harmless joke, or is it a shield hiding real insecurity? Is it a playful bridge, or a quiet confession that you don't respect yourself? How can we use Stoic principles to use humor well without damaging our self-worth? Start with intention. Be honest about what your humor is doing, then refine it. Develop a style that lifts the room without lowering you. That takes self-awareness and the courage to be yourself without begging for laughter. Think about how changing the way you joke could affect your relationships and your self-image. What if you focused on quirks instead of insults? What if the joke made people feel closer to you without teaching them to see you as small? If you want a more satisfying, successful life, bring stoic calm and self-acceptance into your humor. Use humor as a way to enjoy life's challenges, not as a weapon against yourself. The goal isn't to kill your fun side. The goal is to make sure it grows in healthy directions. Try it today. Watch how it changes your relationships and your overall well-being. What can you do to make your humor more confident and uplifting? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear how you're using Stoic principles to find joy in everyday life.